You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Well, welcome back to Talking Real Money, and welcome back to the surreal world in which we all live and deal with money and all this other stuff. Hi, I'm Don. That's Tom over there, and this is a place where you can call in questions about money and what's happening to it and what you might be doing or need to be doing with it in the future, problems you've run into, almost anything that has a financial impact or might have a financial impact on your life. Here's the number. 855-935-TALK. That's 855-935-8255. And my, how things change. Wasn't it just a month ago that the financial world, at least in terms of the stock markets, was coming to an end, Tom?
Well, things look pretty dismal, let's put it that way. And
it looked awful.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it's a fascinating how much psychology comes into play. But there's a couple of headlines here that maybe you've heard. Dow Jones Industrial Average, the best 2-week run in 82 years. Which is longer than you could probably even remember, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Smart aleck.
Just checking.
But you know what that made me think about is the study that the dimensional that I've shared it online and in classes. The study that they do that if you miss the 5 best days the market has ever had, if you miss those days, you lost about 40% of the return of the market just being out for those 5 best days.
I believe the expression is time in the market, not timing the market.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
best
best days happened just after everybody called. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I was here, but this could all be a dream. I mean, I'm kind of still not sure that I'm not living in a dream with, and I'm not going to get too political, but with the people in government right now and this disease. This just could be an elaborate dream. But I seem to remember people calling us and saying, I'm getting out of the stock market now. Didn't they do that?
They did a lot of that. And, of course, what you should have been doing was selling the bond part of your portfolio and buying stock, something that we did for our clients, something we suggested for others. Very counterintuitive because you said it felt like it never coming
You're so
back.
Practical.
I know. But let's assume you did nothing.
Yes,
as of today, you did nothing.
That because I didn't.
Well, you didn't. Now, a lot of people, and we'll know the numbers here pretty quick, a lot of people pulled a lot of money out of stocks and stock mutual funds. When that number comes
probably
out, it's going to be big. But let's assume you did nothing. The question for me on the table is, what do you do now?
Wait, I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah?
Since I did nothing, I think I will continue to do nothing.
This is the do nothing party, I guess. No, exactly. But in all seriousness, that is
Mr. History. That was the know nothing.
No nothing party. Well, it's close. Okay, but the point is, you're right. You shouldn't. But this is an opportunity actually, because now prices have come up a little bit.
You weren't talking to me personally. You were talking to the audience.
Kind of, because here's the thing you could do. You could still do this. This is something you recommended a couple of weeks ago. I think it's a great time to understand yourself better around money and investing and all that kind of stuff. Take the free risk quiz, right? That's one.
I did suggest that.
Okay.
Yes.
And you could still rearrange your portfolio a bit depending on your risk tolerance, depending on your need for this. You could, because stocks have rebounded a little bit. Again, we're not suggesting we're not sell everything and buy bonds, but you could readjust your portfolio a bit right now if it made you very uncomfortable when the market went down as quickly as it did and as dramatically as it did.
But as quickly and as dramatically as it went down, over the past almost 5 weeks now, it has gone up equally, rapidly, and dramatically. It's astonishing to watch.
It is astonishing to watch. Remember, the S&P 500 still down over 10% year to date. A global portfolio down about 25% year to date. And remember, when we throw these numbers out, very few of you have all of your money in stocks. You have some in bonds. So if you're in a 60-40, for example, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, you're down about 15%. It's fairly manageable.
For the year.
For the year. Thank you.
For the year. Over long periods of time, you've been making money. That's what you got to get through your head. But this is confusing. So if you're confused, call us at 855-935-TALK. We've got lines open for you now.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi, Don here. Technology's allowed me to work remotely for the past decade. Heck, I even do this show from Florida. So at Vestory, we recognize the power of technology to provide information and guidance when you need it from anywhere, even from our advisors' homes to yours. When the markets seem to be rising, actually have risen, investing feels easy. It's times like these that separate the real investor from the players, and most advisors, well, they're players. At Vestory, we build portfolios for markets just like these and provide the ongoing counseling needed to remain disciplined through worrying times based on decades of scientific research, not seat-of-the-pants hunches or guesses. So if you're worried about your portfolio's future, you need a 100% fiduciary advisor like us to guide you through the troubled markets based on your needs, situation, and personality. Go ahead and set up your appointment with a Vestory advisor right now. Call 800-386-3004 or visit vestory.com, vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And all you have to do to talk with us about real money is to call 855-935-8255. That's 855-935-TALK. You can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, too, and ask questions that we'll answer on the podcast at talkingrealmoney.com. But it's more fun to talk to you on the radio when we're here every Saturday from noon until 2 Pacific, 3 to 5 Eastern. 855-935-TALK. I'm Don. That's Tom. And I have always said, for as many years as I can remember. Be
careful every time you say always, because then someone will say, wait, remember 1989 you said this?
No,
okay.
This one I've stuck with.
All right, go ahead.
I'm confident of this one.
Yep.
I have said over and over and over again for 30 years that there are only 3 ways to make money.
Oh, that's true. Now that one I'll back up. You have said that.
Yeah, there are only, and no one has ever been able to give me a fourth that doesn't fit neatly into one of the other 3.
What I think one of them is stealing, one of them's inheriting, and one of them is.
Well, no. One is work.
Yeah.
Work, luck, dishonesty.
Yeah. Okay. Work, luck.
It's a single word for each one. Work, luck, dishonesty. Well, yesterday, Tom and I were having one of our online meetings. He being in Seattle, me being in Florida, and we talk about TV shows and things we're watching, and he said, oh, you're going to love this documentary on Netflix called Operation Odessa. Yeah. Because you're never going to believe this. And it's shocking the amount of money that is out there in the hands it's always out there.
Oh, yeah.
In the hands of criminals.
Yeah.
How ridiculously large the sums of money are that are just flowing around. You got to watch this thing. It's shocking.
That's shocking part number one. The other part is, I think you just mentioned during the break, how far and how fast the former Soviet Union fell to the point where I think at one point they said some Russian admiral was making $20 a month or something in 1992.
Well, that was one of the interesting little vignettes in the show where they said, can we take a picture in a top secret nuclear submarine base with you, sir? And he goes, no. How about for $200? Okay.
Yes. That's cash, right? Yes.
I mean,
it's worth watching. I mean, it's
not the best documentary I've ever seen, but the submarine thing
and the characters,
really,
those people.
Oh, the characters are amazing.
Yeah, and I think
Tarzan.
all but one are the real people.
Tarzan, and his strip club,
as the guy
Florida.
said, Tarzan and Jane. I don't. That's what you think of.
Anyway, it was interesting. My wife did not like it, by the way.
What's that?
My wife did not like it.
I'm not sure if mine did either. She kind of the show ended, and I did my usual going to bed to read thing. We didn't really talk about it. So I'll find out.
Debbie, I can tell when Debbie's not into a show because her iPhone is glued to her hands.
Okay, that is going to happen anyway.
But they're moving faster on the keyboard.
No, my wife will do that, and since she's been doing a lot of Facebook stuff anyway this week, there's been so she's been on it a lot. So
can I just say something?
Yeah,
I'm a talk show host. I can say anything, right? Got the First Amendment. Facebook is the devil.
I thought we were sticking with Amazon on that one, but I guess not.
No, right. Facebook is the devil.
Sucks the soul out of you.
Oh my gosh, it sucks. I don't know why she doesn't have cramps in her thumbs.
Just from.
I can't. I try. I go. I can't.
My daughter
type
laughs
on my
at me when
phone.
she sees me doing the single thing.
Give me the big full-size computer
why don't they
keyboard.
attach that to your phone so you could just sit there and do that? It'd be so much easier.
I don't know what we just did. Oh! I know what we were going to talk about though. Speaking of surreal,
we're moving from Operation Odessa to other surreal things.
I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Do you feel like the world right now is surreal? I don't know of another word to describe it. It almost seems like we're in some alternate universe right now. And I'm wondering, and this is a question, we don't often get into just conversation about things going on in the world because we talk so much about specifics and your money, but just for a minute, what's the world going to look like? What's business going to look like? What are we going to do in a few weeks when we try to start sneaking out of our hibernative caves in the figurative woods?
Well, you can still go to the beaches there in Florida. We
couldn't before.
Here. But you can do it this weekend, I believe.
And I can go to a WWE match, too, apparently.
Good. I'm going to bet on the other guy, just so you know.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I'm not going to be, what's the word? I'm not going to be very good at that kofebe thing or whatever they call it.
So what you're asking is, what does the world look like when the bell rings, when something they tell you, okay, it's all free, it's better. I don't think there's ever going to be an all free, number one. Until there's a vaccine. I don't think there's going to be it's okay until they have a way to say, you can take this and you're okay. That's number one. Number two, I think, honestly, and you can, I'm not a health expert.
Neither of us are.
Yeah, exactly.
Just look at us.
Large gatherings, a long time till that. Sporting events, concerts,
I'm just imagining right now. The other day, I drove through my little town's downtown, and every single shop and restaurant is shuttered like a ghost town. And they rely to stay in business on a relatively full house. They're in, these guys are next to Disney World, and they rely on the 72 million tourists that come here every year for their livelihood.
That's like 1 out of every 5 Americans or something.
Well, the good news is that several of them are Brazilians and Brits.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yeah. A couple of them are Brazilians.
Do I think there are going to be fewer businesses? Absolutely.
Do these businesses go under permanently? And
wow.
And then what does that look like?
Your guess there would be, and anybody in the audience, your guess there would be as good as mine.
I'm just trying to imagine it. I'm honestly trying to imagine what it's going to.
To be honest, we've had this discussion at home because, as you know, my wife has a business that's very dependent on people coming and buying things from her directly, and
on social gatherings.
Yeah, I think she's going to be shut down for a lengthy period of time. So that's a whole different world there.
Well, it's going to be. It's scary. It's fascinating. And it's going to be one of those things. And this is something that I've thought a lot about, particularly from my kids who are in that, their 20s and 30s during this whole thing, and how much this is going to impact the way they think about work and money in the future.
Well, I think one thing for sure, more working from home forever. A lot.
I agree. And by the way, I got to tell you, the meetings that I've had with my boards and things that we've done on Zoom, they've actually been far more productive than face-to-face in-person
I'll
meetings.
let you say that.
No, they are. They're much more productive. 855-935-TALK is the number. Let's talk.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Download the advisor interview form and find out if your advisor's a fiduciary at talkingrealmoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yes, we're still in the apocalypse, but the post-apocalypse world is on its way soon. 855-935-TALK is the number, so give us a call to get ready for the post-apocalypse. Yeah, you get a post-apocalypse. Be happy.
I guess.
Most
I'll take
people
it.
don't get post-apocalyptic living. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855-935-8255. The call's free. It's really easy. And, the other nice thing about an apocalypse like this is the fact that there's no more need for traffic reports.
No traffic.
There is no traffic.
And I think God has been very kind to us here in Seattle the last couple of weeks, taking mercy on the fact that we're stuck at home and put the sun out. Basically, every day the weather has been unbelievable. Thank you.
Okay, let me say this as a Floridian.
Doing something nice for us.
As a Floridian, it's the first time in any period but July where I have felt jealous of Seattle's weather.
It's been ridiculous.
It was so gorgeous. So, yes.
So
thank the Lord.
Absolutely.
Pass
Go
the
back
butter.
to the money thing for a minute around all of this. Because, again, my take will be when we look back at this crisis, and one day we will, you're going to see that we will. I mean,
I love your confidence, which was
okay.
like, we will. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well, you and I might not, but somebody will. But the point is,
Tom wrote his obit today, he's out of here.
One of those things you got to get done. But the point of the matter is, my wife thinks it's a control
I'm going to
issue.
interrupt.
She thinks
this
it's a
dude is a
control thing.
planner. He is such a planner. How many of you, show of hands, how many of you have written your obituary? No, mine just went down. Okay, Tom's the only hand up. Okay, go ahead.
So we know, and you mentioned this in the last segment, the folks that end up making money are people that build the right portfolio, ignore whatever crisis comes along. There'll be another one. And hang in there, right? I mean, you got to just sort of ignore it.
Oh, wait, there's one other kind of person who makes money.
Yeah.
That's the one who buys the submarine and transports the cocaine.
That's true. Well, they didn't actually. Well, I don't want to spoil it for those of you who have not seen the documentary yet. Fascinating. Right. But we know that people that move their money around end up with less of it. And interestingly enough, mutual fund managers, these are the guys that run actively managed funds, right? They're buying and selling things and selling Boeing after it goes from $398 to $98 and, buying Amazon after it's gone way out. These are the things they do. They move more of their money to cash in portfolios, most in cash since 9/11. Since 9/11.
But why? So the stock market can go up and they're going to pay more for stocks?
I mean, well, yeah. Wouldn't you rather buy high than buy? No, I mean, exactly right. I mean, this is one of the struggles you have. So, yeah, they were very pessimistic. Now, no doubt, by the way, when they run this for April, this was through March, you're going to see a lot of that cash went away because they dove right back in after prices went back up 10, 15, 20%.
But typically when they dive back in is after they've gone up 15 or 20%.
And as we pointed out at the top of the program, the Dow had its best 2-week run in 82 years the last 2 weeks. So, no, you should not be moving to cash. You shouldn't have an actively managed mutual fund where somebody believes they know more about the future than you do because they don't. And, again, we do know, you already pointed this out, Don, that the big days you miss have a huge impact on your portfolio. I mean, your returns in the long term. Massive, massive, massive. So you got to have the right portfolio. You got to stick with it. You got to be able to ignore all that bad news. You just have to find a way to tune it out. I talked to somebody else this week, and they told me, which I thought was pretty smart. CNN and Fox News ratings, they are skyrocketing. Number one, people are at home more. Number two, they're worried. But this person told me, I only watch it 15 minutes a day. I thought that's pretty smart, because if you get caught up in all this day to day, moment to moment, oh my goodness, it's horrible. That has a negative impact on your psyche, which can lead you to doing bad things to your money. That's the part that we have seen. You got to be able to find it, perspective, put it away. This is unprecedented in health many ways, yeah, but not from stocks and bonds. It is not unprecedented when it comes to that.
Well, and one of the things that these active managers claim is that they're really, really good at outperforming in bear markets when stocks have gone down. Well, that's when we're really going to shine. Well, we've got some early numbers, at least numbers through March. I'll share those in a minute. 855-935-TOM.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Just about everything you need to know about money can be found at our website, talkingrealmoney.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
855-935-8255 is our phone number. I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock, and this is the show where we talk about dough, about making money and saving it and spending it and dealing with up markets and down markets and sideways markets and every which way market, and creating a retirement plan and creating an income stream in retirement and avoiding getting ripped off in Social Security and taxes and IRAs and
submarines, oh my.
And submarines. 855-935-TALK. Call. It's so easy. And it's so sensible. Because if you're tired of getting these stupid, I do mean stupid bits of advice from most of the people in the financial services industry, and you want some straight answers, there aren't very many places you're going to get them. This is one of them. 855-935-8255. Tom and I have been doing this almost since the world began.
Since the earth cooled, to be sure.
It had to cool a lot for us to do it.
You don't want to step into the rest of it without still hot.
No, it was hard to breathe. There was like no oxygen and stuff.
So we've been here doing this for a long time. We've seen a lot, and one of the things we've seen, by the way, is, and I can. There's another guarantee I can make out of this crisis at the other side. You know what you will see in about 2 years when they get all the numbers is a total increase in annuity sales. I guarantee
say the word.
That people will take their IRAs, they will take their 401ks, and they will hand it to somebody in the insurance industry and say, thank you for just guaranteeing my money. Thank you for making sure I'll have income.
On yesterday's podcast, I answered a question from a listener who said, I've been investing in stocks and bonds, a well-diversified portfolio. Is it time for me to get an annuity now? I'm sorry, I'm pausing for a moment, but I can't believe that anyone who has been doing this for a while would ask that question. Why?
Because
why would an annuity be right
because
now?
I don't want to lose any more money, because I'm worried about, as you correctly pointed out a couple minutes ago, what the world will look like when we get through all of this.
But as I also said, there will be a post-baby apocalypse. The world will continue. I am 100% confident of that, because I'm pretty sure there are no asteroids getting ready to strike us, and nuclear war doesn't look really likely right now. So I think there will be a tomorrow, and I believe as part of that tomorrow, because I believe in us as human beings, in our incredible ability to find ways to make money. We're really good at it. That we're gonna have an economy that stumbles for a while, maybe
badly.
But look at the stock market, though. The stock market is telling you something. Remember, the stock market anticipates events. The stock market isn't saying, "Oh, stocks are up because we think the economy looks great right now." No, they're saying down the road we think it's going to improve. That's what those numbers tell you.
Yeah, but it could be tricking you. It could be saying the all clear is coming, and it goes.
It could be. because the future's
Next leg down.
absolutely unpredictable. But that's what you're seeing. And you can't predict the future. And I was going to tell you, I mentioned before the break, let me just share some numbers with you.
These are people now that need to predict the future because their livelihood depends on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
These are the percentage. Now, this is a short-term number. This is just from the peak of the market, because we're talking about
February.
the active managers claim that they do better, that they beat their indexes in down markets. So
they only buy the stocks that go up. You don't buy the ones that go down.
Yeah.
Why would you do those?
So the market peaked on February 15th. So we're going to look at February 15th through March 31st. And large company growth managers.
These are people that own large U.S. companies, firms you probably know.
Like the S&P 500.
Right.
They beat their benchmark 43.5% of the time.
Now, if you flip a coin,
50%
I was
of the
going
time.
to say,
Yeah,
roughly.
that's pretty close. But the large value managers balance that out because they beat the market 56% of the time.
Oh, there you go.
So when you put those numbers together, you average those two out, it's almost identical to flipping a coin. And when you go down the list, you see 44% beat their
and what happens when you do this
benchmark.
for a 10-year period?
It comes out after expense. Before expenses, it's about a 50-50 proposition.
Yeah.
Sounds like coin flipping. After expenses, it's almost always underperforming. Active managers underperform.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hi, this is Don. Please listen carefully and respond honestly. Do you have an investment portfolio designed to weather market declines based on your personal volatility comfort zone? Odds are that you don't, because that's not how most financial advisors work. They make money by playing to your emotions. Sell that, buy this. At Vestry, our job is to know you, your needs, goals, and fears, and then help you build and manage your wealth in a way that allows you to sleep peacefully. Markets like these are why you need a 100% fiduciary advisor like Vestry. So before you do something you may regret, take a few minutes and talk to one of our Vestry advisors who are available by phone or video conference when you need them at 800-386-3004 or set up an appointment at Vestry.com. You have better things to do than worry about the market, so change the way you invest for your future for the better today at Vestry.com or call 800-386-3004. That's VESTORY.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Once again, it's going to be really easy to call us because for some reason no one is today. Maybe the apocalypse really came
Maybe
while we
the
weren't
submarine
watching.
story. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know.
Whatever happened.
Our number, though, is 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Although this may explain it. Actually, it's this human nature. It's that recency bias we talk about a lot. When the market was or had been falling dramatically, we got calls like crazy because everybody was scared for their future. Now that it has been, or it has risen dramatically, I mean, I've rarely seen any kind of upside movement like I've seen in the past 4 weeks. Suddenly, everyone seems calm, don't they?
And or frozen. I think a lot of people are frozen right now.
You know, that may be right.
No,
I think
because we talk to a lot of people, and you know, I think we're running ads for it. I mean, we're offering a virtual, free virtual consultation right now to people because they're trying to figure out what is all this. There's some people that have decided to put off retirement. Talk to them.
Yeah.
There's some people that have decided, well, I was doing this, and this strategy, but I'm going to wait. There were some people that went to our retirement event. What was that, like 6-8 weeks ago? that asked for our help and then said,
our COVID spreading event.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. That was late February, wasn't it?
Yeah,
anyway,
I know. We didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know. But and a lot of you are frozen. You're like, I think I'll just wait right now and see what happens. I still think this is a great time to look at your overall financial situation, because I think I mentioned this last week. One of the things that we did as a household is we sat down and looked at all the expenses. We found things to save money on. We save money on the phones. We save money on cable TV. I save money on my homeowner's policy. I still think that's a place that people underrate you, because your expenses in some ways end up like your house, where you have this accumulation of things that you're not necessarily using all the time. Right?
Oh,
you think?
Oh yeah.
You think?
My house is full of that stuff.
I mean, I'm the bad guy at the house, because I'm like, what is that? That's been there for like 2 years. I know, but that could no. You either have to give it away, or sell it, or throw it away.
All right.
It's got to.
Thanks, Marie Kondo.
I know. So, I'm not very popular at home for that kind of thing. And
you're not very popular with me right now for that kind of thing.
But that's the same thing is true with your expenses. You end up with, you don't need, for example, in my mind, this is going to sound a bit like a lecture, but do you really have to have Netflix, Hulu, Apple Plus, Disney Plus? I mean, every one of those? Can't you pick like one or two of them?
Sacrilege.
I know.
Sacrilege.
Wait.
If I don't have Disney Plus, how can I watch The Mandalorian?
I don't know.
If I don't have Hulu, how can I watch Handmaid's Tale?
Don't know.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
If I don't have Showtime, how can I watch Billions?
I think Billions is HBO, isn't it?
No, it's Showtime.
Oh, okay. That's starting soon.
Succession.
That's coming soon.
It's Succession. That's HBO.
Succession. I love Succession.
If I don't have CBS All Access, how can I watch a good
get whatever
fight?
you need. I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
855-935-TALK is our phone number, and Sandy has called. So, Sandy, the show is all yours. Welcome.
Hi, Sandy.
Thank you. Hi there, gentlemen. So nice to listen to you this morning. You guys are, as always, so darn interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
I like her so much. I just want her to be on the show all the time.
Don's going to send you a gift of some kind. I don't know what. He finds something in his basement studio there to send you, Sandy. So
I have some of this stuff that Marie Kondo there told me to get rid of.
Throw it out.
I love Marie Kondo. You hold it if it gives you joy. Keep it if it doesn't. Thank it and let it go.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, Tom. Good. Goodbye. Yeah. Goodbye, Tom. Sorry. Goodbye.
I'll get the door here.
Gentlemen, I do have a legitimate question for you.
Yes.
Okay.
About a year ago, actually, the 1st of May, 2019, I came into $1 million. I sold a house and netted a little over $1 million. And I frankly sat on it for a variety of reasons. I just didn't know what to do with it. And I'm kind of happy I sat on it now. So what would you guys do if you were suddenly blessed with $1 million in today's current market?
What would I do?
Let me just say real quick, you should be happy or sad. I mean, if you knew how to market time and you got in the end of March, you should be, you would be just really happy. But that's not something we want you to do. We want you to have a plan.
Yeah, and I would add to that. Here'd be my plan. Number one, everyone, including you, Sandy, should have a plan that says, here's what the money's for. So if I came into $1 million, I would say some of it's from my retirement, some's for something emergency. All that would go in those places, and then it would be allocated in each of those places according to what the plan called for. It would not matter May of 2019, which I can't remember what was going on in May of 20. We were still doing stuff. We were going to restaurants and games and that kind of stuff.
I remember going to restaurants.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but it would not matter that the world could change dramatically 9 months late. That would not be on my list. It would simply be my asset allocation would be whatever the plan calls for. Because, by the way, that eliminates this aspect of what you just said, sitting on your hands trying to figure out what might be next.
Well, as Tom said, we talked earlier about how people are frozen, and you can't be frozen when it comes to your wealth. You can't, because this money, this $1 million, this is your future. This is it.
Right.
So you can't just play with it. You can't just give it to some idiot who's going to put it in an annuity and make himself $100,000. What you need to do, and I'm telling you, you're at the number there is a magic number, and you're definitely there where you need a professional plan. You cannot do this on your own. And that means you can't go to a stockbroker or a Merrill Lynch office or a Morgan Stanley office unless you want to pay through the nose. What you want to do is find a 100% all the time fiduciary advisor. Yeah, we're one of them, but we're not saying we're the only one of them. There's a list of them on our website. You should go and sit down with 2 or 3 of them and talk about what they can do and what they should do. And if they don't ask you tons of questions about you, your wants, your needs, your fears, and they just say we should do this, then you should run away. Because you need somebody who's going to help you create the right plan for that money, something that's totally comfortable for you when the market does something like this again, and provides the income you need.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay. It absolutely does make sense, and maybe I should have fleshed this out a little better for you if you have the time to talk to me a little longer.
Sure, we do. We have about a minute and a half.
Okay. I actually do have a financial planner. I actually do have a pretty, well, it was a robust portfolio of about 2.6 that I've been building for, 30 years.
Oh, good. Okay.
This was just this cash that came to me, and I was absolutely paralyzed as to what I wanted to do with it. I thought I'd kind of like to build a new house. I've never, ever owned or lived in a new house. And it'd be fantastic to live in a nice, new, bright, shiny home that didn't need Band-Aids all the time. I also want to retire.
Well, but you see, those are the kinds of things. Those are the kinds of things that a really good financial advisor would discuss with you and share with you the true pros and cons. There's a lot to be said for having a nice house. If you're financially comfortable and you want that with that $1 million, or at least with part of it, that would be great. But, you might also want to consider having a mortgage, too, along with that. There's so much to discuss.
Talking real money.
Do you know what your investment risk tolerance is? Take our free no-obligation risk quiz at talkingrealmoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And Tom mentioned the fact that we are doing absolutely free, no obligation online meetings. For those of you who need someone that you want to, if you're looking for a second or third or fourth opinion, we're not going to try and sell you anything. I promise you that. Because we've got this thing right here called a radio show, and we let everybody on. So if I lie, you can call me and tell me I lied, but I'm not going to lie because we don't need to do that. So what you should do is go set up an appointment. Just go to vestory.com, vestory.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?